Next, I'd like to call up Craig Tucker.
Thank you, members of the board, for giving me an opportunity to speak and bringing this to the table. First of all, just to say the Karuk tribe wholeheartedly endorses, supports, and agrees with the letter prepared by Environmental Law Foundation on behalf of PCFFA. We didn't make it on the letterhead only because of the conflicts associated with the holidays last month. It's important that we approve this today because if we wait until we get into the summer and discover we're back, if it doesn't rain anymore, we get to May and discover we're in a drought. By the time we reconvene, get rules on the table and approve them, summer's over, fish kills happen, and it's all for naught. So approving this today allows us to put regulations in place so that if it continues to rain, we have a wet year, we won't need curtailments. If Mother Nature doesn't provide, we will need them, and the regulations are in place. And I'll admit that this is an imperfect tool for the job, but some of that is simply the fault of agriculture. Back in as far as 2012, we tried to implement an incidental take permit program in Scott Valley, and local producers fought it tooth and nail, didn't want to be regulated. Local agriculture could come anytime, could come forward with things like habitat conservation plans to develop their version of how they could conserve water to meet the needs of fish. They simply haven't done it. They fought these things every step of the way. And I'll also point out that these regulations have not created economic hard times for ag. You can look back in Siskiyou County's economic reports, agricultural reports, and see that in years of drought, the price of hay goes up and the profit margins, or at least the revenue of irrigated agriculture in Siskiyou County remains pretty steady or goes up almost every year. So we're not creating some kind of economic problem for agriculture by implementing this, going back and looking at the economic metrics. We just pulled off a magnificent step here on the Klamath to reverse these trends of fish headed towards extinction with the removal of the main stem dams. We know now that as soon as those dams came out, over 6,000 fish swam past Iron Gate Canyon looking for places to spawn in reaches upstream of the dams. Now is not the time to short fish on water in the tributaries. The Shasta River is the biggest producer of wild Chinook salmon in the Klamath system. The Scott River is the biggest producer of wild coho salmon in the Klamath River. But these fish have to be wet. Experts predict, because of dam removal and the great flows we've been getting here in the month of December, we're going to see a significant reduction in the polychaete worms that's the host of this fish disease called Ceratophrygmus shasta this year. That means that these fish that come out of the Scott and the Shasta will probably have one of the best chances for survival getting out to ocean and coming back in 4 years than they've had in decades. Now is simply not the time to short these fish. And this administration and this governor has called this out specifically in the salmon restoration strategy, that these two streams in particular are vitally important for the recovery of Klamath River salmon. So I urge you guys to move forward and implement these regulations. And with that, I'll conclude my comments. I really appreciate the time.